So it seems that Marvel Rivals is doing so damn good that the game director wants to come out and celebrate by trashing its would have been competition if the game didn't die in 10 days. But apparently, the game director has come out and said that Concord didn't bring anything of unique value. Now, this is pretty damn incredible considering that, Marvel Rivals is essentially a copy, of the most part anyway, of Overwatch, and they bring about an IP that really doesn't have anything original in it because it's Marvel. I mean, we've known Marvel for a long time now, and the gameplay is not exactly super original either. But let's be real. People would love the idea of an Overwatch game featuring Marvel heroes. This is something that we've been talking about for a while now, and now they finally have that in their hands, and gamers are showing exactly what they want is what they want, right? So now we have numbers here showcasing that Marvel Rivals is in fact doing incredibly well, with a 24-hour peak of 449,000, which is almost as high as their all-time peak of 480,000 players.
Pew, 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 pew.
Someone get this bitch off me!
Leave it to the American to save France again. Hey, hey! Turn off that ongo bongo music and watch the point.
Yes, massa. I hold the point good for you, massa. Fucking racist ass, white ass motherfucker.
Now, let it be known, ladies and gentlemen, I do in fact see this game tanking at least to about 100,000 players concurrent, maybe a month or two from now, once the hype dies down. But if it doesn't, that'll be even better. I mean, at the end of the day, it is a free-to-play game, so the numbers will be higher than normal of a paid game, I would imagine. But still, it's going to definitely tank over time. Not to say that that's because it's a bad game, but it's just, when the hype dies down, it's normal. Live service games end up finding their consistent player base about a month or two after they go live, and then they kind of ride it out from there. But the game director trashing Concord, I thought was absolutely hilarious, and I wanted to talk about it. So let's get into this video, guys. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So it says Thaddeus Sasser, the game director for Marvel Rivals, trashed Firewalk Studios Concord, saying it didn't bring any unique value. Now, the funny thing is, at this point, Concord is just what it was, right? Concord is a mark in history where the gamers absolutely spoke with their wallets, right? And they spoke with their wallets so strong to the point that Sony had to take the L publicly. And this is like the second or third public L that Sony had to take. The first one being when Helldivers 2 made them get on their knees and basically revert a stupid change that they were trying to do after the fact. And number two is this with Concord, where they had to admit that the game's a massive failure and they're just better off just shuttling it all together and hoping they could get some sort of a tax write-off. Yeah, it's two massive L's that they took in the same year as a company. But overall, I mean, Firewalk Studios, for all the activism that they pushed and for all the nonsense they were talking on Twitter with the developers and whatnot, I'm sure they're probably not that happy right now being unemployed. Then it says that the host stated, "You're entering a market that is very full of different games. I think one of the cool benefits of Marvel Rivals is that it's offering something that not only no one else can because no one else has the Marvel license for a hero shooter, but you're also offering something that's entirely unique within its market." And we're seeing a lot of games come out that are like very similar to other games. Like Concord came out and died very quickly. There's a lot of reasons behind that. Probably it didn't have much marketing. People didn't gel with the art style of it, but at the end of the day, it was another standard hero shooter. I really don't think that marketing was the issue because I feel like they marketed the hell out of this game. They definitely had marketing, especially on social media. It was pretty much everywhere. I mean, Sony was pushing this left and right. I think it was more so the art style and the perceived notion of the game, right? It was perceived through the developers, and it was perceived through the gameplay and perceived through the art that the game was going to be 100% woke as hell with the pronouns and all this other nonsense. I mean, you're giving stuff that gamers just don't care about. You could try to enact social change as much as you want, but when people are saying no thank you, they're just going to keep saying no thank you. It doesn't matter how many times you keep going. Sure, you might convince that one person to say yes, but there's hundreds of thousands of people saying no, and you don't have the time and you don't have the money to make them all say yes. You just don't. Eventually, you're going to shut down. Look at Suicide Squad, Marvel's Avengers. Now you have Concord. There's other games out there that have experiences, say Saints Row. I mean, there's so many of them. It's insane. Then Sasser then chimed in saying, yeah, it didn't bring any unique value. The host continued with, people already have Overwatch, and you're not going to drag people away from Overwatch. Exactly. How are you going to drag people away from Overwatch, giving them the complete opposite of what Overwatch is, right? Overwatch is already woke as hell. So why would you want to give another woke, why would you want to go play another woke game? An uglier version of the woke game, right? At least for Overwatch, they're very bright characters. They're very animated style. It could be something that's very attractive to people Even if the character's ugly, at the end of the day, animated style can make people kind of take a second look at an otherwise ugly character. But Concord, with its realistic graphics, yeah, bro, nobody was looking at those ugly ass characters. Nobody cared. They were very uninteresting, very generic, very boring. Nobody cared about any of them. Then it says Sasser concurred and explained there's a switching cost. I've already invested in Overwatch. I got 15 skins for Farah, and I'm not going anywhere. Exactly. Nobody's going to go anywhere. The host then asked, when you're pitching or working on a new free-to-play game in the current market, are there worries that you're not going to grab that crowd? It's quite evident that Marvel Rivals will at least kick off very well, especially considering the massive Discord following and how big those playtests were. Is there a slight worry there? Sasser replied, as a game developer, you're always worried until the audience has already responded. And the truth is that I don't think anybody can accurately predict this, or the game industry will be radically different today. There's a lot of games that come out where people are like, it's going to do well, then it flops, or people come out and go, it's going to flop, and it succeeds amazingly. So I think it's really hard to tell ahead of time, and you're always worried about that. Well, see, here's the problem. There's a lot more games that are predicted to flop that absolutely do flop than there are that are predicted to flop and actually succeed. I mean, we're talking like a 95-5 split at this point, where we predict that certain games are going to flop, and the 9 out of 10 times they do, right? And in 1 out of 10 times, you have that one game that will just take off for whatever that reason be, and we can kind of figure out why that is and have a conversation over it. But for the most part, I think it is pretty damn easy to determine what game is going to be a flop and what game is going to be successful, at least at the bare minimum level. I don't think it's very difficult to determine that at all. But I think the trick is that you need to have that reason that people want to come play your game. I think Marvel Rivals does that exactly with the superhero. I don't know about you, but when I heard the concept of the game, I was like, oh my God, I want to go and beat Storm in the game. I want to go beat Doctor Strange in the game. I want those heroes. I want to be those heroes in the game. That sounds awesome. And of course, my mind immediately leapt to all the cool possibilities you could have with that. That's what I think will pull people in as well. If we've done our jobs well, they'll love what they play and they'll want to play some more. And it's very clear that they have done their job well, right? People are playing this game nonstop. I cannot pull Atreus or Kata away from this game. I'm sure they're not making as much content as they normally do because of this game. It's insane how much people are playing this game. I haven't played it yet because I'm just not interested in a hero shooter. I'm sure I'll be bullied into playing it at some point in time. But as of right now, I got way more important things to play, like Path of Exile 2, for example. Marvel Rivals had an extremely successful launch, hitting a peak all-time concurrent player count on Steam of 480,900. Furthermore, the game is still going strong, with most recent 24-hour peak hitting 449,895 players. Yeah, no, the game is definitely holding strong. There's no doubt about it, and it's very clear that this is going to be massive for this company. It's going to be massive for this game, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of money to be made from Marvel Rivals, even though it's supposedly free to play, you know. And NetEase is one of those companies that definitely focuses on microtransactions and all that stuff. So don't be shocked if if they start going insane with it. Furthermore, the game's developer and publisher NetEase announced that the game had been played by more than 10 million people in the first 72 hours. 10 million people in 72 hours. Absolutely disgusting numbers. It's numbers that all these other studios can just dream of potentially hitting. So congratulations to Marvel Rivals. Great job on taking what Overwatch did and throwing Marvel's skin on it. And we'll see what happens in the future in a couple of months as this game starts to dwindle down, and see if the hype, maintains and stays strong. It's up to the developer and what they decide to release content-wise to figure out whether or not this is going to have any mainstaying power or not. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.